Hey there YouTube, Speedrobo here, and today I have a little bit more of a Indianapolis wrap-up for you because this is the profile of the deck that I took to the Buddy Fight tournament. It is my Katana World Skull Warrior deck. I've been playing this deck for a while. I absolutely love it, and I think it's a lot of fun. So let's get started. Flag is Katana, and the buddy is Skull Warrior, Bones of the Four Birds at Kutenhaba. So let's just jump straight into the size 3s. I run 4 copies of the buddy. Of course, I love this card. Super great finisher. 924 size 3 impact monster with a cost of 2 gauge, and destroy 1 or more Skull Warriors on your field. When she attacks, you mill the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you deal burn damage to your opponent equal to the number of Skull Warriors among those cards. So since all the monsters in this deck are Skull Warrior, that is going to be burn damage for each Skull Warrior. I run 52 cards, and about half of those are Skull Warriors, slightly over half, in fact. So she'll usually deal about 2 burn damage and set up my drop zone while dealing an extra 2 crit or swinging for 9. So really solid stuff. The next size 3, 4 copies of Revelation Tactician Kiganryu, a 6/3/5 size 3 with a call cost of 2 gauge, and the top card enters his soul, comes with Soul Guard, and he reduces the size of all size 1 Skull Warriors by 1, making them zeros. So this guy interacts with the rest of the deck exactly like a size 1 would. So he's effectively a 6/3/5 size 1 for 2 gauge with a Soul Guard. That's insanely powerful. This guy's amazing. Size 1s are next on the menu. I run 2 copies of Retainer of the Demonic Dragon, Resurrected Dragon Bones, a 3/2/1 size 1. When this card enters the field, you mill 2 and act, pay 1 gauge. Take a size 3 monster from your drop zone and put it into your hand. You may only use this ability once per turn. You know what he can pull out? The buddy. Spam this. Win games. Good stuff. Next, I run 2 copies of Companion Katana Yamagitsune. 5/2/1 size 1 for 1 gauge. With the ability that when a Skull Warrior deals damage, you may destroy that card. If you do, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand of their choice. Really, really strong stuff. Making your opponent discard is pretty great. I run them at 2 because I can't really find space to justify running him at a full set. The deck mills pretty well, so odds are he's going to be in the drop zone, and then once he hits the drop zone, it's easy peasy to revive him. So, 2 copies. Then I run 4 copies of Demon Kid Hinamaru, a 6/2/1 size 1 that destroys itself at the end of the turn, and when he enters from the drop zone, you charge a gauge. His stats are crazy. The fact that he destroys himself is not really a minus in this deck, and he charges you gauge. 4 of required in every Skull Warrior deck. I don't care. 4. Period. Next, 4 copies of Snake Princess Setsuna, a 3/1/1 size 1 that destroys herself at the end of the turn, and when she enters the field, you may pay 1 gauge. If you do, call a size 1 or less Skull Warrior from your drop zone by paying its call cost. Do you like Return to the Underworld? Do you want to run 8 copies of it? Do you want Return to the Underworld on a monster card? Boom! Done! This is what this is. It's Return to the Underworld, but on a monster. It's great. Next, 4 copies of Godly Speed Nasubame, a 4/2/1 size 1 that destroys itself at the end of the turn, and when it enters the field from the drop zone, you draw a card. Sandy Sprint only activates once per turn. No big deal. This is basically free draw, because you're going to want to revive something from your drop zone anyway. If it's not Demon Kid, it's Natsubame. Drawing cards is great. He makes it happen. 4 copies. Done. And last, certainly not least, This card saved my life many a time. That is going to be 4 copies of Lightning Speed Suki Usagi. Counteract. During an attack on your opponent's turn, you may pay 1 gauge. If you do, call this card from your hand to the center and change the attack target to this card. This is great. It's a nullify with the Skull Warrior attribute. The 1 gauge is a little meh, but it does get around non-nullifiable attacks. Because it doesn't nullify the attack, it just changes the target. So this can basically null anything that isn't penetrate. So, penetrate's a problem, but other than that, Suki Usagi's got you covered. Next are the spells. 4 copies of Clear Serenity. You're playing Katana World. This is Clear Serenity, and it's Katana World. Run it. Of course I have 4 copies of this in this deck. And then, heyo, it's a Skull Warrior deck, so of course there's Return to the Underworld, and I use it at 4. Now I know that many people out there are like, oh, but hey, you could use the Odd Ritual Skull Festival, and that's good because it revives size 2s. Yes, but that costs you a life. I don't like that. Everything in my deck's a size 1, except for 2 size 3s, which I can revive those with Dragon Bones, so who cares? And I prefer Return to the Underworld. You could run Skull Festival, but I don't like the life cost to it, so I just go with Return. I mean, Hinamaru pays for it, so if you revive Hinamaru, it's free. I mean, come on. Next, 4 copies of Benefit. Cast cost, put a size 2 or less monster from your field into the drop zone. Counter, put the top card of your deck into your gauge and you gain 2 life. This card's basically free in this deck, because my monsters blow themselves up anyway. So, ta-da, 4. It's great. Pretty much any deck, run Benefit, if you got spell space for it. Next, 4 copies of Demon Way Geppu Giri. You may only cast this card when your monster is destroyed. Counter, destroy a monster on the opponent's field. This card is great. It nulls, it blows stuff up, it does everything. What more do you want? 4 copies. It's good stuff. Next, 4 copies of Demon Way Jigokuzu. Woo! Call a Skull Warrior monster from your drop zone by paying its call cost. You may only cast this card once per turn. At the beginning of your main phase, if this card is in your drop zone, you may pay 2 gauge. If you do, put this card from your drop zone into your hand. This is a crazy strong revival option. It pulls out anything. It can pull out a size 3. It can pull out an impact monster. It can pull out a size 1. It can bring stuff back for free if it doesn't have a cost. It's great. I love it. 4. Good stuff. And the last card in the deck. 4 copies of Demon Way Arakuya. Hey, do you like Nice One? Do you wish Nice One drew you 3 cards? Ta-da! Because fulfilling the requirement of 2 Skull Warriors being destroyed is not hard and happens every turn. So, it's Nice One, but for 3. Yes. So that's the main deck. I'll give you a quick look at the sideboard. I run 2 copies of Scorpion Armor Kinrosai, 3/2/6, size 2. When it attacks and deals damage to your opponent's item cannot stand. I put this in as 2 just for Dragon Force and Zeta and non-destroyable items. I thought that those would make a bigger showing at the tournament than they did, so I'm probably going to replace this with Snake Gaze, because Snake Gaze is really good against impact monsters, so I'll probably swap this out for 2 of Snake Gaze. Maybe. Also, with the new Dragon Empire stuff coming out, Snake Gaze is going to be a really good response to that. And I feel like the Thunder, Empire, Dragon World cards are going to be the new hotness. Same with Prisms. The Snake Gaze is going to respond well to both of those, so this will probably get swapped out for that. But I figured, hey, word on the street is Dragon Force is going to be the hot new meta, so Scorpion Armor answers it. Then I run 4 copies of Art of Item Blasting. You know, for those conventional item matchups, your hero worlds, your dungeon worlds, just blast their items and problem solved. And my favorite card on my sideboard, 4 copies of that Ninja Arts half kill. Hey, does your opponent run things with Soul? Do you want them to not have Soul and to lose the game instantly? Half kill. If you draw it, it's an instant win button against, Ancient World, Star Dragon World, Worlds with Soul. Boom. Half kill them. Yep. Good stuff. So, that's the deck profile. I've been really enjoying this deck. Like I said, it's super fun to play. I don't know how competitive it is. I didn't do well at the Indianapolis event. I either went 2-3 or 3-2. I'm not sure which, because I was super sick and drugged out of my mind on cold medicine. So, I did not perform great. I don't know if that was the deck. I don't know if that was me. Like I said, don't really remember that day. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I will be more than happy to answer. Love doing some discussion on my decks. Love talking about cards. So hit me up. I've been Speedrobo. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.